When desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. God is saying, Jesus is telling us when we pray, when we have his attention, when we're acting in adoration, and we acknowledge that he is the one who provides for us every day, and he gives us our daily bread, and we don't live by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. So we say, give us our daily bread, give us what we need, Father, and I'm going to forgive others because you have forgiven me. And now lead me not. Jesus says it's okay. You ought to be aware that sin is available. That as he said to Canaan on the field, anger is crouching at your door, and they will lead you in the wrong way. It will cause death eventually. Sin is there. It is always there. The temptation, and we act on that. It's only tempting because we have a desire present in our flesh that wants it. So these things are only tempting to you. Are you hearing this? They're only tempting because there's something in you that wants it. If you didn't want it, it's not tempting. If it didn't look good, you'd avoid it. If it tasted bad, you wouldn't eat it. You wouldn't. So it's the desire. It's only tempting because of your own sinful desires. And if you act on that temptation, it leads to sin. And the sin, when it's full grown, leads to death. That's how sin is. That's what starts with a temptation. Being tempted and having temptations is not evil. It is not a sin. It's your choice. It's your actions following that. If you give in to that desire, it becomes a sin. And you might as well. We have, Teresa, we were baking brownies like every week for, 6 months. Because we found them on this like 2-for-1 thing, and we'd get the pack, and all you have to do is add water. I mean, that's about as easy as you get. And what do you want for dessert? And you can decide at the last minute, let's have brownies, and then within 30, 40 minutes, you can have brownies. Fresh, hot out of the oven. Just like that. Did you know that? And we can't eat a whole pan of brownies, but we would just have just a couple. So we put it there, and every time I walk back to the brownies, you start out with this half, and there'd be like just, I think it's shorter. And there's tea here? Good, don't tell her. She eats her brownies one little tiny thin slice at a time, so it doesn't look like, you guys do, right? You just take a little bit, and sin, and that desire, that temptation, it just leads to pretty much like, I can't believe we ate the whole pan. We're not doing that again. And then 2 days later, you want some bread? Sure. Don't lead me into temptation. We're saying, God, guide my steps. The Psalms are full of David and the other psalmists whose heart is for God. Say, God, guide my path, because I know if I'm left to my own ways, I will choose the wrong one. God, guard my steps. Let your word be a lamp unto my feet and a light